Shalom, this is David Meir. You have to forgive me for the quality of my microphone. It's not that good. And so you have to up the volume a bit if you want to hear me good. I'd like to talk about Israel, where I live, and why most people in Israel support Donald Trump. It's important for people in the US to understand that we don't support Trump because he's a loudmouth and he likes pussy. We love pussy too. But there is a more existential reason why we love Donald Trump. Well, most of us. The leftists in the press, in judges, and the political left, of course, would like to see Clinton so she can push Israel to make more concession to the Palestinians. But the leftists, you know that politically correct is a mental illness. It is. And sadly, a lot of people are affected by it, and Israel is no exception in this regard. But if you go in the street and let's say you make a poll in the street, overwhelmingly people support Donald Trump. Well, in Israel, the main reason is for his stance on Muslims. Maybe in the US, you have other reasons like Obamacare or immigration from Mexico, and these are legitimate reasons. And as Americans, of course, what you think is important because he's going to be your president, not ours. But here in Israel, of course, we see this from our point of view. And from our point of view, the problem is what is going on around us with Islam. And Obama is a Muslim. That is a fact. His father was Muslim. He studied in the madrasa, which is a school, religious Muslim school in Indonesia. And according to the Sharia, the theological jurisprudence in Islam, if you're born with a Muslim father, you're Muslim. No matter that you go pray in churches after that, you're still considered Muslim. Like someone born of a Jewish mother is a Jew, even if he's Christian, Buddhist, he'll still be considered a Jew. And so really in that sense, Judaism and Islam are not really religion because there is no real personal choice. You're born in it, that's what you are. And of course, in Judaism, there are people that have left it but are still considered Jew, like unless in their testament they make a special demand, they'll be buried as Jew. But we're not pursuing them. Some may have family that have cut ties with them, but no one is actively pursuing them, and so they want to stop living as religious Jew. No one will stop them. You know that with Muslims it's a bit different. If their family finds them, they shoot them in the head or cut their head off. We know that Islam is the religion of peace and tolerance. Muslims show us the way all the time. So yes, so in that sense, Islam is like Judaism, and Sharia is a bit like Halakha, which is really overlooking every single aspect of life. So according to Sharia, Barack Hussein Obama is a Muslim. He is. And he has not forgotten his religious studies, and he tries on every turn to show how great Islam is, what a wonderful thing for the world Islam has brought, and we know it's bullshit. It is. Islam every day shows its true face by killing people, maiming people, raping people, you just name it. Zoophilia, pedophilia, necrophilia, whatever. That's what, because you know, Muslims all their life are being taught that if just you follow the laws of Islam, you'll go to Jannah, which is Gan Eden for the Muslims, Garden of Eden, and there you'll drink wine all you want while you have an everlasting erection and fuck all the virgins that will always be virgin, no matter how many times you fuck them, and will serve you every wishes. So of course they're brought up from the younger age thinking that kind of bullshit. So they want to be shaheed, which is a martyr for the cause of Islam, and kill people that oppose Islam to go to Jannah and fuck the virgins forever and ever. So with that kind of brainwashing, it's no surprise really that the religion of peace is really a religion of war, conquest, mayhem. It's sad. And what is even more sad is that, of course, Muslims do a lot of baby. Some Muslim countries, especially in the Gulf, like Saudi and Qatar and Bahrain, sit on shitload of oil, and so they have political power because they have the resources that everyone wants to buy, and so with that money they buy the West off. I don't know, for example, if Angela Merkel has been bought or she's just a dumb bitch, but she has opened the door of Europe to a shitload of Muslims, and they come to Europe doing what they know best, rape. Because it's not enough that they promise to fuck in the afterlife, they want to do it here also. And the Quran says that whatever your right hand takes is yours. So Muslims think that if they take a white girl and rape her, that's their right because they're the master race. And it's funny that a lot of people criticize the Jews for saying that we are the chosen children. They say, yeah, you think of yourself superior, you think of yourself the master race. That's something that I've heard a lot of people opposed to Israel and Jews say. But the truth is that if someone sees itself as the master race, it's the Muslim, especially the Arabs. Arabs think because they are of the people of Muhammad that they're the best people because they have chosen the true religion, and they really see themselves as superior to others, even to other Muslims. Just see how Indonesian and Pakistanis are treated in Saudi. They're treated like shit, and there are fellow Muslims. Really, Arabs see themselves as superior, Muslims see themselves as superior, and they think that they're worth more because they are of the true religion. So the West is theirs for the taking, and how can you oppose that? They do not really understand democracy. I don't think they ever will, because Islam has since its beginning been surrounded around a man. One man, Muhammad, which according to the Hadith in the Sunnah themselves, Hadith is a collection of sayings of people that supposedly were close to Muhammad, even though it was written like 200 years after. And so in one of the Hadith it says of Aisha, which was the daughter of Abu Bakr, which was the uncle of Muhammad, so if I'm not mistaken, so he married the daughter of his uncle, Aisha, when she was 6. So it says in the Hadith, narrated by Aisha, the Prophet married me when I was 6, and he slept with me 3 years later. So Muhammad was a pedophile. Of course, Muslims get angry when you say that. Some try to say that it's a false hadith. Some try to say that no, there is this hadith that said that indeed she was not 9, she was 19. That's all bullshit. Anyone who has studied Islam and the hadith can be found on sunnah.com, sunnah.com. Just like the Quran also can be found on legacy.quran.com. It's Muslim sources. You have the text in Arabic and very acceptable translations. You can show it to someone who is Arabic speaking and he'll agree that the translations are right. Muslims don't like, because they think that they are the true religion, that's why they try to hide it. Because inside of them, they know it's bullshit. They know that Muhammad was a pedophile who fucked with little girls. They know that he beheaded hundreds of Jews and married one of them, Safiya, and had sex with her the very night after he murdered her husband and her family. That's the man that Islam say is the most perfect man who ever existed, and the beacon of morality, the example to follow. So the problem is with Islam is that everything surrounds Muhammad. Muslims say no, he was only one prophet, we follow only God, but it's bullshit. See their reaction when you make fun of Jesus or Moses, even though they say that they were prophets of Islam. God knows how they think that. But when you make fun of Jesus, for example, there was that, I remember 10, 20 years ago, there was that Jesus in a bowl of piss, and Christians were angry, and you didn't see Muslims killing people all around. But there are French newspapers who have made very hurting caricatures of the Pope, of Jesus, or whatever, and you didn't see Muslims freaking out and killing people. But when it comes to Muhammad, that's something else. Then you see the murderous rage in their eyes, and they're really ready to kill whoever stands in their way. So even though Muslims deny it, the whole cult of Islam is really a cult of personality, the personality of a rapist, pedophile, and mass murderer. And that's the problem with Islam. That's why they are not able to understand democracy. Because at the base, they're religious. Their religion is based on worshipping a strong man, a strong figure that they must follow blindly. This is Islam. So of course, with 1,500 years of religion beating that in the head of children since their birth, that they must follow blindly the prophet. So of course, they have no true basic understanding of democracy. And the result is that none of the Muslim countries are truly democratic. Even the closest to that, which is Turkey, has been done only by pushing Islam away, as the Atatürk did. But then, even then, you see now that Erdogan, the Prime Minister, turned President, turned Prime Minister, turned President again of Turkey, he's an Islamist. He wants to push back Islam into the fabric of the country, and you see already democracy backing away. Democracy and Islam are mutually not able to be together. Exclusive, mutually exclusive. You can say that it's true of all religion, but we see that all the countries that are in a majority made of Christians, like France, like England, like the US, have been able to find a compromise between religion and democracy. Even Israel, which is a Jewish country, we celebrate the Jewish holidays as national holidays. So really, Judaism is deeply ingrained in Israel. Even us, we have found a way to make it democratic. to a very large extent. We surely are the most democratic country in the Middle East, without question. But Muslim countries are unable because of the Muslim psychological mentality. Another problem in Islam is the strong, how can I say it? The strong social pressure. You just can't imagine, because the problem with Muslims is that they have a herd mentality. Not only I say it, I saw on memory on YouTube a sheikh that was a member of the Sharia court in Saudi, very smart man, and he said it himself that the problem with Arabs is the herd mentality. They follow, and whoever steps a bit out of line is bullied by the others. Pressure is very strong among Arabs, and if someone dares talk against Islam or Muhammad, he fears for his life. Even women, they always say that the hijab, that thing that they put on their head, or the niqab, when you don't see the figure, that women put it freely. But it's not true. It's not true. I'll tell you why. Because if women who supposedly wear it of their own free will take it off, they're going to have pressure, even violent pressure, from their surroundings. So they can say that they choose to do it all they want. Maybe it's true in the beginning, but the problem with Islam is that you can back off. It's the same thing. There is in the Sunnah, in the Hadith, a Hadith saying that, and so said the Prophet, whoever leaves his Islamic religion should be killed. Muslim can deny it all they want. It's in chapter apostate in Sahih al-Bukhari, book 88. And it says that whoever leaves Islam must be killed. And the truth is that if in a country that has Sharia law, like say Iran or Saudi, if you leave Islam, or you go to prison for a long time, or you're killed in Saudi, you're beheaded. If you say that you leave Islam, you are beheaded. Islam lives only by two things: making a lot of babies and the fear of being killed if you leave Islam. So if Islam is the true religion, true compassionate religion, why does it need the rule that if you leave it, you have to be killed? That's like a cult. A cult, you get in, people say, oh, come in our cult, all peace and love. And then if you want to leave, people get violent with you. That's the way Islam works. It works like a cult. You can get in, but don't you dare get out. And Islam also works by extortion. If you don't respect the demands of the Muslim, bad things will happen. That's how the mafia works. By the way, mafia is a word that has Arabic origins, not for nothing. Truly, if you look at Islam, it has a mafia mentality. Now, I wanted also to talk a bit about my experience since I'm in Israel. I was born in France. Then when I was a kid, my mom moved to Canada, and I grew up in Canada, Montreal, from the age of 4 to the age of 21. Then in 21, I came to Israel, and I'm here since. My age is now 43, and I hope you can hear me. You'll have to put a bit. You have to put the volume a bit up to hear me good. I'm sorry about the quality of my mic. Now, yes, I've come to Israel about 22 years ago. Sorry. And I've learned for a year in yeshiva, which is a religious Jewish school. And then I went in the army. Now, the army in Israel is from the age of 18 to 21, 3 years. And since I got in the army when I was 22, I did only 2 years. Still a long time. And in Israel, when you finish the army, you do milwim, which means reserve, until the age of 40, 1 month every year. So for 1 month every year until the age of 40, you put on your army costume, you can say, your gun, and you go back doing everything you did in the army. This until the age of 40, which have now passed, so I'm not doing the army anymore. And most people that, especially that have been in fighting units, like I have been in Golani, that is the symbol of the Golani unit, olive tree, the best unit in the army. And so I was a sniper in it. And when you do the reserve, you do everything you have done in the army, and it's very. Listen, life in Israel is not easy. We are in a country surrounded by hundreds of millions of goat fuckers and camel humpers, and all they want is to kill us. They do. If it was not for the IDF and the fact that everyone here does the army, sorry about that. We wouldn't survive today. It's very difficult here in Jerusalem. Last year, around the same time in October, there was a wave of knife and car attack that started, and it spread to all of Israel, and it has gone down since. There has been terrorist attack last week where someone shot at the light train railway station, killed a woman of about 60, and one of the cops on motorcycle that followed him, and he was shot a few seconds later. But last year, between let's say October and December, which was the strongest of that wave, there was a knife or attack or car attack where someone takes a car and just goes into the crowd, or almost every day. There were like days where there were 4 or 5 different attacks, like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, one later, and all over Israel. You have like the news during that time was like, this morning, knife attack in Jerusalem. This afternoon, knife attack in Nahariya or in Ra'anana, Tel Aviv. Later, someone ran his car into people in that place. And really it was knife attack every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. I know that in the West, people didn't hear about them so much, and when they heard of them, it was a Palestinian has been killed by the Israeli police. 2 people were injured in an attack. It seems unrelated, and that's the way the Western media always tell the news. They didn't say that a guy was shot after he stabbed people in the street. God forbid. They don't want to hurt the poor Palestinian who was supposed to be the victim here. And there's a reason why the whole world wants Palestinians to be the victim. There is a religious war going on in the Middle East. And people try to make the Palestinian conflict all about territory, that people took the land of someone else, and they're just freedom fighters fighting back for their land. That's not true. It is not. It is not. Really, it's not. It's a religious war. It is. Islam sees itself as a religion which will exist all over the world, sooner or later. Muslims think that one day the whole world will be Muslim. And according to Muslim faith, when Muslims control a country, a piece of land, it is forbidden for Muslims to accept the fact that non-Muslims take the power in that land. And you can ask someone who knows well Islam, like we do here in Israel, and they will tell you. They will tell you that according to Muslim faith, Israel, which they see as Muslim land since it was invaded by Arabs in the 7th century, that they cannot accept ever that it becomes a non-Muslim entity, Jewish or Christian or whatever. That they will never accept. So all the talk about the land for peace is like a veil in your eyes. It's false. They will never accept it. And it's not a question that who wants peace or peace will happen one day. As long as Islam exists, there will never be peace. Never. Because even if some, let's say, enlightened Muslim leader are ready to accept the existence of Israel as a Jewish state, they accept Israel as a secular state where everyone can live like the US or France, because they say we'll start immigrating in it and one day we will turn it Muslim. But if we say it's a Jewish state, only Jews can come here, only Jews can live here. Never Muslim will have a chance to turn it into a Muslim country, which is what we're saying. Then the Muslims are not ready to accept it, and that's why there will never be peace, because they will never accept a non-Muslim country in the Middle East. Never. Whoever thinks it's possible just don't understand Islam. It's like saying to a Christian, you have to accept that Jesus, I don't know, will never come back. If you believe Jesus was God and will come back, that will never happen. You have to accept it. It's like he ceases to be Christian if he accepts that. So asking to a Muslim to accept that a non-Muslim state will exist forever in the Middle East is like saying that Islam is wrong, something that he will never be able to cope with. And that is why there will never be peace, or as long as Islam exists, or as long as the Jewish state of Israel exists. One of the two must go. Of course, as a Jew, and I know that Israel will never go. We will never accept to go. If we have to fight until the last man, and we're more than 6 million here in Israel, we'll do. But peace will never come, sadly. But as long as Islam ceases to exist, Islam is the problem. Islam is the problem. Without Islam, there would be peace in the world today. Most of the conflicts in the world involve Muslims in some way. Few of them, like I don't know, maybe North Korea or something like that, do not involve Muslims. Most of them, whether it's in Burma, in China, whether it's a problem in Nigeria, Mali, in the Maghreb, Algeria, whether it's conflict with the Chechen, or the riots in Europe, or the rapes in Europe, most of the conflicts today involve Muslims in some way, because Islam is such the religion of peace that everywhere it goes, it has problem with its neighbors. Everywhere. Even the Buddhists, which are by all means peaceful people, no one will think of the Muslim, of the Buddhists as crazy fanatics. Even them are killing the Muslim in India because they're fucking fed up. They're fed up. How long can you tolerate people that say that they're superior to you, attack you all the time, say that you must respect them because, and just, even the Buddhists are fed up. They're killing Muslims, and good for them. So I promised I'll speak a bit about the things I've seen in the army and the things that are going here, not nice things. The press hides a lot of the bullshit going on here. You can Google, for example, Hatwell family, Tali Hatwell, which happened in 2004 when you know that the Jews have come out of Gaza in 2005, and the Jews that were living there were making a campaign to say, pressure Ariel Sharon into not doing that. And there was the case of Tali Khatouel, which came in car to the city of Ashkelon, which is not far from Gaza. And she came back to Gaza, and she was with her car, and her 4 daughters inside. One was 11, 12, and 3 others were between the age of 2 and 8, and she was 8 months pregnant. Now, Palestinians shot their car, stopped them, came to the car and put a bullet in the head of every girl, the 4 little girls, a bullet in the head of the mother, and a bullet in the belly to be sure the baby is dead. Now, I know it sounds horrible, but attacks like this have happened before, happened after. Of course, the international press did not make a big deal out of it because they want to make the Palestinians victims. And I started to talk about that. I'll come back at why really the West is taking the side of the Palestinians all the time. There is economical and political reason to it. It has nothing to do with poor Palestinians suffer, because there are dozens of conflicts where people suffer much worse, and you don't see that same response from the world. You know, manifestations all over, and the UN making an urgent meeting. You just don't see that. And so there's a political and social and economical reason why the Palestinians are the victims, always considered. And so another example is the Fogel family. I think it was in 2010. They were in, you can call it settlement, that's the way the press is calling them. I think it was Itamar in Samaria. And Palestinians entered their home and butchered the father, the mother, the little boy, which was about 4 or 5 years old, and the little baby, which was 3 months old. You can find pictures on the net. You see the body of the little boy with blood all over, and the little baby, her head was almost cut off. And these people, you know, if someone does that to your family, everyone will say he's a criminal, he's a scumbag, and go to jail and never come out. These people in the among the Palestinians are considered freedom fighter. Now, how can someone say freedom fighter of someone who shoots a baby in the head or cut off the neck of a small child? Because they are taught hate from the moment they are born. They are taught hate, taught that Islam will take over, that the Jews will be killed. There's a hadith saying that the judgment day will come when the Muslims kill the Jews, and the Jews will hide behind the rocks, and the rocks will say, "Oh Muslim, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him." There is such a hadith, and notice it does not say Zionist or settler or whatever, it's a Jew. So Islam calls for the murder of Jews, and in the mosques and in the religious school they are taught from birth that the Jews must be killed, the Jews are enemies of the Prophet, now the Jews have taken Muslim land. And of course, it's no surprise that India, they go and make these sorts of attacks. And the Palestinian press call them heroes, and when they are sent in jail, you have the UN, even the US and Europe saying you must release the prisoners for peace. Now these prisoners are not someone who say long live Palestine and goes to jail for years and oh my God, he's the poor victim. These are people that try to murder people, that say kill the Jews, Allah Akbar. And these are the people that the international press makes pressure to release them for peace. People who say, you know, when they come out, they say, we'll continue to kill Jews. And yeah, that's very sad. It is. And it's like the case of Samir Kunta, who is a Druze from Lebanon, that in 1979 came with two other guys in Naria in the north at the Lebanese frontier. And he entered the home of the Haran family. And there was the father, the mother, the daughter, 4-year-old daughter, and the little boy. Now the mother hid in the closet, and she accidentally killed her little boy when she pressed strongly his mouth for him not to scream, and he suffocated, which of course she was devastated by that. And the terrorists didn't find the mother and the boy, and took the father and the daughter on the seafront. And then Samir Kunta shot the father in the back, and then took the daughter and with the butt of his gun smashed her head till she died. And they were in Israeli jail, where I might add he studied, passed a diploma, and got married, because Israel is so barbaric. And Hezbollah, one of the reasons why they started the war in 2006 was so they could kidnap soldiers to make exchange, and one of that they wanted in the exchange was Samir Kunta, and he was released in 2008, and he went on all the televisions in the Muslim world, in Qatar, in Abu Dhabi, even in Lebanon, and he was treated as a hero. The man who was in Israeli jails for 20 years, a hero. Only in Lebanon, and only Christians, some Christians television people say, I don't know if it would be a good idea to accept an interview with Samir Kunta, because the only thing he's famous for is smashing the head of a 4-year-old. And so the only people who had a small glimpse of humanity were the Christians in Lebanon. And that's it. The Muslims have a lot of money. They're buying the press. Most newspapers today, they have Muslims who own them, or partially. You can see it, for example, by the war in Yemen now. How many times have you seen pictures of it? How many times have you seen a journalist talking of it? A special reunion at the UN to condemn Saudi and Qatar about it? Never. Because they own the press. All the time they say Zionists control the press. But the press always talk about Israel. Everything that happens in Gaza, even the smallest thing, it makes the news. But what happened in Syria and in Yemen, they don't talk about it as much. And there's a reason for that. Because Muslims buy their way off, and they have the oil, they have the economic pressure, and of course, because of the pressure I've talked about as Muslim, that the Muslims feel that obligated to be with other Muslims at all costs, even if other Muslims are wrong, you have to be with them. So there's that Muslim false brotherhood. It's not a real brotherhood, because most Muslims hate each other and fight one against the other all the time. But they feel they have to be united against Israel. And that is why, since they control the UN and the press, Israel is always the middle center. Always, always, always. Because Muslims just won't accept that Israel, the Jewish state, will be here forever. If a Muslim accepts that, he'll be killed, most probably. And so they feel compelled to bash Israel at every turn, to show what good Muslim brothers they are to their other Muslim brothers. That is why there's such a disproportionate response to everything Israel does, and that is why Israel is always the center of everything. Now, I have no doubt personally that Hillary Clinton has been bought by the Muslims. I mean, look at the Clinton Foundation. It has gotten millions of dollars from Saudi and from Qatar and from Bahrain and from the United Arab Emirates, and who else? Oman, and she's in bed with a spy of the, not really a spy, or more Muslim Brotherhood, Huma Abedin, the wife of pervert Anthony Weiner, and she's a Muslim. She supports Sharia. She supports the U.S. turning into a Muslim country, and she's the closest confidant of Hillary. I'm sure they'll lick each other's pussy all the time, because it's a known fact. Even though I'm sure they'll deny both of them. But imagine if tomorrow Clinton is elected and she croaks, or she becomes insane or something. Who will be the real power behind the throne, so to say? That Muslim Brotherhood bitch. Accepting her into the White House could be even more dangerous than Obama. So even if you dislike Trump, you'd have to be crazy to let Hillary come to the White House. This is to open the door to Muslim country taking over. I mean, literally. Already she's saying, like Angela, that she wants to welcome hundreds of thousands of Muslims, even though they're raping their way around. Please don't do it. Please, Americans, don't be stupid. You're not just electing a president for you. The US has tremendous influence all over the world, and a bad decision for the US can have everlasting consequences for the rest of us. So I am asking humbly to you Americans, don't let that fucking bitch get to the White House. Please don't do it. Please. This is all I have to say. Love you all. God bless America. And Gina Nels, I think you are fucking beautiful. You are. And thank you for listening to me. Bye bye.